YouTube! This is my video for Wednesday the 16th of October, and I'm going to try something slightly different. I'm going to try a bit of video editing. I think I can do it. I haven't yet downloaded the software to do it, but I have looked at some YouTube videos and I know what I'm going to aim to do. So I've had quite a morning of it so far. So while it's fresh in my mind, I'm going to tell you about this morning, and then I'll finish off this video with what happens for the rest of the day when it happens. So I didn't have anything booked in this morning. I didn't sleep very well last night, but I was awake just about at 7:30. So I had a look at the CX app for jobs, and the first thing that I saw, which woke me up quite well, was a job going from Boston for a small van to Glasgow. It was 309 loaded miles, picking up at 9 o'clock. So I put a bid on at 90p a mile, which came out at £280, 280, and I thought that had a reasonable chance of winning, and quite quickly I got a call for it. I was given the job. The only slightly unusual thing was the shipper said that at this point I might need to go to Edinburgh rather than Glasgow. He'd find out at 8:30 where I was actually going. But from as far as I was concerned, that was not an issue. They're both pretty close together from where I am. So I just said, yeah, let me know when you know. So I made my way and arrived at the pickup point at 9 o'clock, as requested. The guys there said they weren't ready for me. They did offer me a drink, which I thought was very kind of them, but being the character that I am, I'm very happy just sitting in my van by myself. So I said, I'll just wait here, let me know when you're ready. Half an hour later, I rang the shipper just to let him know that I was waiting. Still, I think I'd called him at the start as well. And as I was talking to the shipper, someone came over to me. The shipper said, let me know when you're finished. The time after half an hour, I'll pay waiting time. So I put the phone down, and the guy that came to me said, can you just follow me around to the other warehouse and we'll get you loaded up. He also said to me, where have you come from? So I told him, and he said, do you have a business card? And for a tenth of a second I leant forward to pick up my business card, and then I realised suddenly, I can't do that because I'm not working for myself today. I'm working for a shipper on behalf of them. So I said to the guy, I really appreciate what you've asked, but unfortunately I can't give you my card because today I'm working for somebody else and it wouldn't be fair to take away business from him. And his response was quite nonplussed, because he said, well, the guy you're working for is not my customer, it's got nothing to do with me. And so he said, if you must be busy then. And I did explain, well, not really, I do need the work, but I just don't feel it's the right thing to do. I said to him, he was looking at me weirdly. He was trying to convince me, I don't know, he kind of went defensive-ish, like I was being unreasonable. So I was trying to sort of say, I really appreciate your offer, I'm sorry, it just doesn't feel right because, you know, I'm not meant to be taking work off other people. And I said, well, what I'll do is I'll ring the shipper and see what they think and then let you know. So he then went off. I think he was a bit stressed because he was busy with other vans as well, and the customer that I was working for him hadn't really been clear about where I was going or what I was delivering for him. So I think that was, in hindsight, I think that was part of why he was a bit annoyed with me. But yeah, it was difficult for me. I'll tell you why it's difficult for me. Because on the one hand, I was able to explain to him why it's not the right thing to do to take customers, even though he was saying he's not my shipper's customer, he's got nothing to do with him. On the other hand, I had this excitement. I've been asked for someone for my card. I've never been asked for my card. I only ever use my cards to put in with my invoices nowadays. And I do need more work. I am desperate for work. This guy is local to me. He's offering me the potential to give me work directly, not through the CX. It's like a dream situation to be in for a self-employed driver. So on one hand, I'm so excited and wanting to give him the card. On the other hand, I can't because it's not the right thing to do. And that emotional turmoil was quite adrenaline inducing, I would say. So he walked off. I rang the shipper back and said to him, this is the situation, I've been asked for my business card, how do you feel about that? And he was sort of thinking it through as I spoke to him. We're obviously both, as owner drivers, perfectly aware of the dangers of this. We don't have to tell each other. I'm aware that he will have worked hard to get his customer, and there's no way I want to take that off him. But in this case, it seemed to me like the person I was with wasn't his customer, and he wasn't losing anything. So he was saying, what does he actually want you to do? Because I can't see at this point whether that's going to affect me at all. It seems like he's asking you to do work for him. So I said, I'm pretty sure that's the case. He had told me, this is the guy that spoke to me, he had told me that usually he takes the stuff himself from his warehouse, and if he can't do it, he's got a Boston-based courier company that he'll call upon. But for today, that company, for the other jobs that he was doing, the other vans he had coming in, had let him down. So obviously, from his point of view, he was thinking, how can I get access to another reliable courier? That was what was on his mind. And I turned up, sort of, obviously, from close by. So I could see it from all points of view. Anyway, the guy said, the shipper said to me on the phone, just double check what it is he wants you to do, but he didn't feel that it would affect him. So I waited then. Just before 10 o'clock, I got a call to load up, and I spoke to the guy that had spoken to me, who I now realise was the owner of the company, and he's about my age. He was obviously used to getting what he wants when he wants it, being the owner of a successful company. And I think, I don't know, those sort of people don't like being told no, do they? So anyway, I spoke to him. He was still a bit stressed about, no, not stressed, he was still a bit off with me. And I said to him, just to confirm, that where I'm going today is not the person I'm taking work from when I do work for you. He said that wasn't the case now. He'd be doing work for him directly from Boston. So I was satisfied that I wasn't removing a customer from the shipper. I went back to the shipper, relayed that to them, and in the end I did get to give my card to the guy in Boston, and then I was getting loaded up. I feel that in the end that was the right thing to do. I feel that everyone was in the loop, everyone was informed about what was happening. I can see why each of us in our own way, had, the way that we look at it. I can see why the shipper wants to protect his business and his customers. Absolutely agree, that's really important. I can see why the person I was collecting from, his business needs reliable couriers who are local to him. So, I can see why he wanted my business card. And obviously, from my point of view, I can see why I wanted to be careful about what I did. I was sort of as is often the way with self-employed drivers, you're in the middle of competing sort of forces. So yes, so I was now going to load up. The guy that I was loading up with, the boss of the pickup company, said, "Have you got any blankets?" And I said, "Yeah, of course I have." And he said, "You'd be surprised how many drivers turn up without blankets and they then turn them away." Because obviously he wants his goods to be protected as much as he would do it himself. And they had a bit of a chat about straps. By this point, he was a lot friendlier to me, I would say. Tension had sort of gone, and we were just having a normal conversation. And he asked me what's the latest he could call me. I'd never been asked that question before, so I had to come up with an answer on the spot. And I said, it's 10 o'clock. I didn't know if that was good or bad. To be honest, it's any time. Anytime, it could be any time I'm not asleep. But I do stay up quite late. But I had to give him some sort of time. So I thought 10 o'clock in the evening was a reasonable amount of time. And he said, "Yeah, you'll be hearing from me," which I heard and I took on board, but I don't really believe it. It's almost too good to be true. Will I ever get a phone call from him offering me a job? I don't know. It's all very well, isn't it? I don't want to get too excited about it, but it's a possibility at least. And will it be one job a month, or will it be every day almost? So who knows? It could be anything. So I made my way off site at 10:05, and I called the shipper to let him know I was leaving, and asking for half an hour's wait time. It was an hour in total, and we'd agreed the first half an hour was free. He was too busy loading up his van at the time, so I had to call him back. So I then drove out of Boston. I was still quite buzzing, having had that morning. Oh yeah, sorry, I missed this bit out. So because of the hour's wait on site to pick up, when I put my sat nav time into Edinburgh, it was saying it was 6.25 hours, as opposed to the sort of 5-ish hours that I was supposed to get to Glasgow. And what with the hour's wait, that's 2.25 hours extra on my day I wasn't expecting. So I worked out I was going to arrive at my drop-off place at the earliest at 4:30. Now that's not going to happen because I'm going to have to stop to get fuel, so it's going to be around about 5 o'clock. So I'm going to miss any opportunity, I think, to get work back down. Not that there was a great chance of getting work down, but if I was going to be there about 2 o'clock, I would have been much easier. And so it makes my day a lot different to what I was expecting. I'm going to have to be home tonight. I cannot stay out because I have to go to the dialysis in the morning, first thing, rather than the afternoon. So I'm going to end up being home in the region of 1 to 2 o'clock. Now I personally don't mind that. I don't mind. I've got $2.95 for this job. That'll pay for my fuel to get home and back, and I'll be close to my upper target of that. And who knows, I might get a late night job on the way back. Who knows? It's possible. Unlikely, I know, but it's possible. And the only reason I mentioned that is my day was going to be just a simple dawdle up to Glasgow and back in the day, but now it's become more of a trek. It's more of a very long sort of day up to Edinburgh, and then that's the whole day basically up to Edinburgh, and then coming back overnight. But I'm not moaning, I'm just identifying that my day's gone very differently to how I thought it was going to go just an hour ago. Right, as I mentioned, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to try and edit a couple of clips together to make one video, and I don't know whether it's going to be. It won't be today because I'm going to be a very late day today. Hello there. You now find me in Scotland, specifically on the A73, cutting across towards Edinburgh from the M74. And the reason why I'm going to stick this clip into my video for today is that I've completely forgotten I did this in my last video, but I did say if you got to the end of it, give me a thumbs up and I'd give you a thank you sign. And I wanted to say 9 people as of 3:30 on Wednesday. 9 people have actually done that, and I'm going to do 2 things off the back of that. The first thing is, unless you are someone that creates stuff on YouTube and has that sort of community, I think it's hard for you to really understand how gratifying it is to have just a simple thing like we watched all your video, and I'm ridiculously happy about 9 people doing that. I think an hour video is probably a bit too long really for nowadays, but I just had so much I wanted to get through and I was in a bit of a roll that it ended up being an hour. And so I am really surprised that anybody got to the end of it, but never mind, so far 9. And I'm even more surprised that 9 people bothered to actually send me an emoji. But so thank you very much to all you guys who are supporting me by watching this channel. I do appreciate it. It's much more a channel for myself than anything else, but part of what I get from this channel is having that sense of a supportive community. And for someone like me, I think it's really good. It's a really good thing. So thank you. And I'm going to shout out Michael Whitaker, who was actually the first person to send me a reply, and he was quite quick off the start line, and by about an hour he was the quickest person to send me a response. So special thank you to Michael, if that is your real name, because I'm never quite sure with YouTube monikers, but I'm going to assume you wouldn't make up Michael Whitaker, would you? What crazy fool would make up that as a name? Anyway, thank you, Michael. My stats, based on an average fuel price of 13.26 pence per mile, I've driven today 656 miles, 656. I'm currently just heading back down south from drop off, and I'm doing this while it's still light, because otherwise you won't see anything. By the time I get home, I will have worked for 15.5 hours. I have earned from one CX job £295, 295. My fuel for this trip has totaled £86.13, and that means that after fuel I've made net £209, which is a bit less than I thought I was going to get, but it's always good to confirm just how long it is to do this trip. And so with the delays this morning, and it being changed to Edinburgh from Glasgow, anyway, it is what it is, isn't it? So this brings me to the thing I want to talk about first of all, which is, I just want to remind people, if you haven't watched all my videos, that I don't pretend to present my figures because they're great. All I'm doing is I'm presenting my real life earnings so that you know what it's like for one person on CX who happens to live in East Anglia and drives a long wheelbase van. Now, I don't have contacts, I'm just doing it all off of CX, and I'm having to do it now part-time. So I don't think that what I do specifically should be replicated by anyone else, unless you happen to be in a situation where you have a similar situation and you can see what it's like. I really love this job, and I'm not going to do anything else, and I'm going to do the best I can to make it work. But financially, it's quite tough. And I just wanted to say that I think it's quite tough for everyone at the moment using the CX. I don't think it's. I think it's worse. When I say it's worse, I think it's worse in terms of the amount of money you can earn on the jobs this year than last year. And I think it was worse last year than it was the year before. So it is definitely difficult to make a living as a self-employed courier. But as long as you know that, and as long as you're sensible about budgeting and how you run your business, it's not something I would necessarily not encourage people to do if it's right for you. But it's up to you. It is difficult though at the moment. It is in my view, and other people have sort of shared this view, it is harder now than it was in recent past. So the point of this series of videos I do is just to kind of demonstrate what it's like out on the road doing this job in the way that I do it. And it's for me to kind of share that, and for those of you that need that sort of information, that's what it's there for primarily. Right, the second thing I want to talk about today, nothing to do with the courier stuff really, it's more to do with why I'm now driving home and not sort of heading for, say, Newcastle and staying there for the night. Tomorrow morning, which is Thursday, I've managed to book my dialysis treatment first thing in the morning, because I'm really looking forward to visiting my daughter in Manchester in the evening, and we are going to watch together an online virtual AJR concert. And for people with autistic traits watching and who like music, watching a concert in your own home is ideal. I would not want to go to a real concert. I would find it very overwhelming and quite stressful. So I'm really looking forward to this, and this makes up a bit at least for the time when I was going over to see my daughter and her boyfriends for the football match that I missed 2 Wednesdays ago. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that my van doesn't let me down. I'm sure it won't. It's a good old thing. But I need to get away from Boston as soon as I can. I'm aiming to get to dialysis for 8:30, be out of there for around about 1 hopefully, and then up to Manchester 3 hours in time to have a meal and then watch the concert in the evening. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a really nice day tomorrow. And then Friday morning, what I'll do is I'll look for a job locally from the northwest in the morning. I'll probably aim to tramp out in Manchester and get a job in the morning. So therefore I don't have the option of not being home today, so I'm just having to head straight back from just outside of Edinburgh, and the journey back is just under, from where I am now, just under 6 hours. So like this sort of day, but there'll be some of you who would not be able to cope with this sort of amount of driving. I would hate it. I was watching one of James's videos recently. I'm a bit behind, but he was saying about people can get lonely on the road, and I was saying, and I was talking to him while he was doing the video, not in real life, but through the video screen, saying I would love to be on my own all day. It's great. So a little shout out there for James's videos, James Fletcher. Also, while I'm doing that, I've been a bit behind, but I watched Anvil Dave's video about his second year results, and I thought they were very clearly presented and very helpful for people who are new. And also I thought, despite all the hard work he does and the good contact he's got, it's still quite a low margin, isn't it, this job? But he's obviously on the right side of positive. I'm on the wrong side of positive, a bit negative. But anyway, let's not dwell on that. Let's move on. I'm going to see you probably Friday. Farewell, friends.